In this video, we're going to take a look at what Clover call externalizing data. Um, Here you can see, as part of this graph, we've defined metadata. We might have defined connections or sequences, and these things are always local to the graph that you're working on. So if I go to the trouble of setting up some metadata here and then switch to another graph in here, it's not going to see the metadata that I've defined in this particular graph. Now obviously if you've got, for instance, metadata that you want to share, so you only want to define it once and then share it amongst the other graphs, or maybe I've defined a sequencing pattern that I want to share elsewhere, then what you need to do is to externalize it. So in the case of, for instance, this metadata I've defined for the input format for the orders CSV file, let's say I want to share that amongst some other graphs. What I do is I can define it internally here, and then when I'm ready I right click on it, and actually I'll have to move the window up a bit so you can see what I'm doing. I right click here and then I go externalize metadata. Click on that and it's saying where do I want to put it, and by default it's chosen the meta folder. That's the standard folder for externalized metadata, and that's going to end up with the file name i_orders.fmt. So let's just accept that. Now let's pull our thing back into the capture area. Now you'll notice that the name of the metadata has been changed to meta/iorders.fmt. That signifies that it is has been externalized. If I scroll up here into the main sort of navigation panel, you'll see that our meta folder now contains iorders.fmt, and that's now a part of the customers project. If I take a look in my graph here, you'll notice here that this has automatically been changed. This edge connector for the metadata associated with this has been changed to meta/iorders.fmt. So now if I switch graphs here, for instance, this one here is still pointing to the i_orders, which is a part of this graph's metadata definition. If I hadn't done that though, what I could do is to point it instead at the iorders.fmt. The way I do that is to right click here on metadata, say new metadata, and now I point to link shared definition. And now we can go and locate that file here, click on OK, and if we take a look here, you can see there's the iorders. Now what I do is I change that to point to the shared one, which is meta/iorders, and that's it. So there I've given you a fairly comprehensive overview of the metadata example. We could do exactly the same for any of these other ones in the same way. So if I define any lookup, for instance, I'd do the same thing down here. I'd externalize it and then link in the same way. So the same for all of these items. So that's a trick that's well worth knowing if you want to share your definitions amongst multiple graphs.